Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for Kubera, episodes 153, 154, and 155. I would assume they're not going to be terribly short because they haven't been. Last time there was just so much to talk about, in addition to the chapters themselves being so dense with like so much story content that it took me like an hour just to do the three of them. So I don't expect them to be short, and I don't expect them to be so long that I don't want to do three. Like, I don't expect two of them to take me an hour, at least not ideally. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. Again, I think the first part of this arc was maybe the slowest part of Kubera so far in terms of the amount of like content we were getting per chapter, like how dense the chapters were. But then the read through before last, about 4 or 5 chapters ago, things started to like really kick into gear a bit more. And then last read through, we just got hit with 3 incredible chapters back to back to back. So I am really excited to continue to see more, to keep going through with the characters. And I don't think there's anything else more to say. For like, I always try to remember. I was like, what did people talk about in the comments? Was there something I need to address? I always try to remember. Sometimes I even go reread the comments to refresh myself when I start a new video. But either way, let's just start reading 153, read the afterword as usual, and then, you know, carry on as normal for the read through. This one though, I clicked onto the chapter and I actually saw this first panel while I was setting up to record, setting up my mic and camera and everything. So the first thing I see is, while you were gone, I developed a powerful sleeping pill that makes you fall asleep instantly. What in the Cosby? I managed to minimize the side effects to just one. Oh, well, it's that one side effect. And yeah, this came out of nowhere for me. I was like, who is even talking? So it's Lila and Claude. Hair loss. Claude, I've seen you since you were little, and I know that it wouldn't do any good to tell you about being responsible and sacrificing yourself for this city. But at least think of the lives of yourself and your sister, and escape now while you can. Escape. We're dead. Or we're dead if we leave the city, and we're dead if we don't fight, or if we don't fight well. There isn't really an option here. That's right. There's no option anyway. I just said that because I was hoping you might help at least a little bit voluntarily. I've been helping out voluntarily this far, and I'll continue to do so. Again, Claude has just been doing his own thing in the background for the entirety of his presence in the story so far, and we still do not have a clear picture of what it is he's going for. And it's kind of wild. I've mentioned a lot throughout the series, especially throughout all of Season 2 so far, knowing so much about the characters or seeing so much of them. Like when it comes to the main quartet that we had back in Calibloom, it's like we spent so much time with these 4 and we saw so many interactions between the 4 of them interacting with each other, interacting with other characters, their thoughts when alone, how they respond to different situations. It's like I have seen so much of these characters in so many different situations. I feel like I just have such a greater pool of things to pull from than so many other characters in so many other series. And especially, not only has it been a couple hundred chapters, but the story has been dense with a lot of things happening, a lot of really good story content and writing. And yet, they're still so mysterious. Like, not talking about Claude, who we haven't had quite as much time with, but we've still had plenty of time with. But even characters like Asha, it's like we have had so much time with Asha. We have seen so many different things out of Asha, and we still don't have the full picture for, like, her goals, the way she thinks about certain things. We still know so little despite all that time. The same goes with Yuta. There's just so much that Yuta knows about his situation that we as readers don't know. Ron is a character that, at least on the surface, feels like we've seen a lot of what he has to hide, but I, again, wouldn't be surprised if there's just so much more to go for the character. And then Lise, of course, still has so much more that we don't know. So it is just crazy how we can spend so much time with these characters and know so much, yet also still understand how little that we know. And now we have Your Justice and Mine, Part 19. There's almost no one in the temple. Everyone except the backup guards has gone to the turrets. What are you doing here? You should be careful. Don't you know that hiding with Hoti Chandra doesn't work on people with a sixth sense? There are some magicians with death attributes who've developed a sixth sense. That's why I always win at playing cards. Did you use Bhavati Yama again? Very clever. Hiding somewhere safe and using other people's bodies as a shield to move around. It doesn't matter what you say. I'll do anything I have to in order to block this alley right now. You're still no match for me. That would be true if I only had one life, but I'll take over another one if this magician dies. If you keep fighting, you'll eventually trip up and end up getting caught and executed before Lila can get to you. Okay, so given that Claude is the priest of death, is this Claude using Bhavati Yama? And so Bhavati Yama lets you take over the body of others. Does that result in their death, though? Is this magician now guaranteed to die because Claude took over? And if so, does that mean that it's not like some secret group that was working to take down the airship? Was Claude controlling the body of the brown-haired girl back then? Okay, gonna continue reading, though. Then... Still no match for me. That would be true if I only had one life, but I'll take over another one if this magician dies. If you keep fighting, you'll eventually trip up and end up getting caught and executed before Lila can get to you. This Bhavati Yama spell really is powerful if you use it without considering the person's body that you're using. Decide wisely. This will be over if just one of the remaining Kuberas dies anyway. And there's another Kubera aside from Lila in this city, right? And then, I just don't want Lila to end up being a sacrificial lamb. I have no intention of getting in your way if you just leave this place, so... Alright, then I'll change my target. So it's interesting, it was already heavily hinted at that Lila was one of the Kuberas, but it's kind of interesting that this is the reveal for it. Like, the way that this is written. This whole conversation is interesting. I almost was like, did I miss reading something? Did I skip some chapters? Because it feels like all of this is just being thrown at me right now. Then I'll change my target. You sure gave in easily. Why would you go through so much trouble this whole time when you can change your mind so easily? Anyway, good luck. I don't think your way of doing this is all that bad. Stomping on and killing others for the sake of your own goals is natural in the Shura world. The only thing you've done wrong is to be born in the wrong place. I understand. You say that you understand me, and yet you treat me worse than a human. So what? It's already too late for you or I to be treated like humans. Good luck. I've got my fingers crossed. So it's... And then they're calling out to Claude. It's crazy, though, because Yama is like death magic. So does this random magician that Claude took over, can you just take over bodies and it doesn't require death? Like, you can just take over the body and then take over another body like he mentioned before, and they don't die? Or is I was assuming the consequences would have to be death, like this blue-haired lady would have to die. Lazy bones. I just left the room for a minute to go do something and you took a bunch of sleeping pills. It sure still hasn't appeared for me to use Bhavati Yama on. Lila, and then her attention's taken. So, Lila was going to use it... So to use Bhavati Yama, then she has to have a Yama attribute, right? So she's not triple Chandra, then? And she was going to use... Okay... So, theoretically, would that work for a summoning? For a god summoning? I feel like it wouldn't, right? You would have to be a human, like sacrificing your life or whatever to try to summon the god, or sacrificing your life force. Like, I would think it wouldn't work like that, but if it does, you could just take over Ashura's body and then use that Shura's body to summon the god, maybe? Maybe that was the plan? We're here to deliver this message from Saha. And this is the person we saw with Saha before, one of them. So is this going to be the one that's a recurring character? If Yuta's alive in this transcendental attack, we have Agni. He's either with the Shura who's dodging... I almost forgot that's the cliffhanger we ended on last time, was Agni going to look for Yuta. He's either with the Shura who's dodging that turret's attacks, or... And then we... Okay, so he is drawn over to Sagara. You found me quicker than I expected. Well, I guess since this mountain is the only thing still standing, it would have been stranger if you hadn't found me. And she's with Yuta. Sagara, did you come for this? Well, I'm not giving him to you. I thought the only thing to do was kill him, but then I thought of an even better use for him. I couldn't have done this on my own, but now... Anyway, just wait. I'm gonna create a real masterpiece very soon. So, again, we still have Sagara plotting things, and it's one of those things where Sagara has her own goals with all of this Kubera stuff. Samfati wants revenge on Yuta, but she's also playing along with this stuff. Marna has his own goals when it comes to his family, and that makes it so that during this whole attack, I mean, maybe the way that the humans end up winning and all is that the Shuras just can't work together, because if Sagara is planning on using Yuta, Samfati wants to get revenge on Yuta, and Marina, push comes to shove, might want to save Yuta, then it could just put all three of them at odds with each other. Do you think I'm going to stand around waiting, Sagara? We have a massive explosion, and Marina takes notice. What are you doing? Stay focused on the turret. We almost got hit just now. And Ura's riding on Marina. Agni and Sagara met. Oh yeah, finally. Coming soon. Let's see who dies first. Lunatic. What's wrong? I was just saying what you were thinking. They're both your enemies anyway, right? I still need Sagara to win right now. Then, let Sagara win now. And we're back to the eruption of flame from Agni. Wow, what's that? I'm surprised I've never seen that skill before. But, seeing that you stopped while using it, I guess you can't kill this guy, huh? I don't know if it's that he can't, but that Agni is a good enough person that he's not willing to kill a innocent, in this scenario, an innocent person in order to stop Sagara. He's not willing to go through someone else. Come to think of it, when Ananta died, Tataka clan sided with the gods. So, you'll have to protect their prince in order to continue using the Tataka clan, right? And now we're seeing the dark version of Agni. I feel like we've seen this before. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like we've seen like the dark-haired version or like darker version of Agni before. In like, I don't know if it was a flashback, but I do feel like I've seen it like a long time ago. Way earlier in the series. And then we get cliffhanger on Agni once again. That was a really good chapter. The first part is really good. We get a little bit more hints at the Kubera stuff and what Asha's doing. And I am interested to see how things will go with Asha, Lila, and Lee's. Because that could go like a million different ways. And especially since we're going towards the end of Season 2, like we have, what, less than 30 chapters left now? We've got to be, I would assume, hitting some like huge game-changing stuff, considering everything that's going on. There is a lot of really massive stuff, like worldwide calamity level stuff going on when you think about this attack. And then we have a fight between Agni and Sagara, which makes you worried about how Brilith will hold up, because somebody could go after Brilith. And also what Sagara's planning, what the whole Kubera thing is. What's God Kubera gonna do in all of this? And then Lila and Claude stuff at the first half of the chapter is very good. Back half of the chapter is good because I really like all of these chapters. Right now, Marana and Huda are kind of doing their thing, just distracting the turrets. But like I said before, when it comes to Yuta, everybody else has these different thoughts and relationships to him, and the Shura aren't really on the same page. Like, there's some infighting among the humans, sure, but the Shura, I think, have an even shakier relationship right now. So, either way, let's check out the Afterword, and then we'll go see what the next chapter has. Afterword this time says, Claude's definition is, and then, how many times did he hit you? We have the beaten up sleeping Claude. Then, this is not a situation where you can wait. We have the eruption from Agni's fire. You know how to use stealth, don't you? How cute. Sorry for the delay in the single volume. I've been very busy for a while. Now that I have some free time, I'm going to finish the 6th volume of the single volume and add some Webtoon shop items. It's been so long since I've touched this. Man, I wish that the, English Webtoons shop had, like, actual cool stuff from actual good Webtoons. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I think I've looked up there before and the selection was very thin. But we have Empathy 176, and let's see what next chapter has. Going straight into 154, we have, I thought that you change into your slightly more powerful male form when you fight. That's right. I have said that before. The fact that you were waiting for me in your female form means that in your male form, the transcendental that you used on him would stop working. Okay, so of all the guesses I made, like last week, I don't think I guessed that was Sagara's ability. You usually act like an idiot, but you seem so serious today. Well, you're not wrong, but that isn't the only reason that I didn't use my male form. You know, Agni, this isn't like last time. I was thinking the answer was going to be that Sagara's male form was better, like, physically, but the female form was better at using Sagara's transcendentals, and now that the transcendentals are unsealed, there would be an advantage there. But, I mean, I guess that is kind of true to a certain degree, because it seems like female form needs to be active to use this transcendental on Yuta. So either this is something that Sagara can only use in female form, or it's something that only affects the opposite sex. So then, Agni, this isn't like last time. It doesn't seem like I really need to take on my male form to face you just yet. I'd love to fight you directly, but I have to keep holding on to this guy for now. This should be enough to buy some time while my masterpiece is completed, right? And is this Urvasi showing up? There aren't any transcendental skills that can materialize a living Gnostica. So, if this is Urvasi and he's here, this throws a weird wrench into the current Gandhover relationship that might be going on when Gandhover himself, or if Gandhover himself gets involved. There aren't any transcendental skills that can materialize a living Gnostica. That, or it's just like a corpse puppet, which would be another, when the heck did this guy die? Okay, so it's like a corpse summoning puppet. And if so, that's a very good question. When? And we know that, what was it? Sagara was talking about, like, way back when they first came over from the Shore World. The Gandharvas are dead or whatever. Stop, like, worrying about your daughter. If so, is there a chance that the Anantas just said, hey, we're having fish tonight, and they took out the Gandharvas? And that's why Sagara can do this? And maybe the truth was being told about Shakuntala not being there waiting for him? When the heck did this guy die? What on earth happened to the Gandharva clan for him to be dead? So the Gandharva clan might actually be clapped. It might be very Gandhover. Then, Your Justice and Mine, Part 20. We see Brilith. I thought I heard the sound of whispering, but it looks like everyone's gone. I could have heard them if I had been by the door before. It's locked from the outside. Why would they have stopped me from even going outside? Huh. Try to look on the bright side. I don't know about the situation outside, but I'm sure everything's going fine. Try not to worry yourself over nothing. Don't be anxious. Then, Tishurya, and we have Saha just sitting in the casting chair, it would seem. Did I push myself too hard? My vigor's already run out. Snap out of it, Sahaon. You've never been the kind of guy who couldn't manage his vigor. And then he's alerted by the door. Saha, it's me. Lorraine. There's so much going on here. Like, my mind is swimming with all of the things. Like, I'm still like, I thought it was going to maybe be Asha. Because Asha's still going after somebody. Lila and Claude are still doing their thing. There's so much going on with the Shuras, the gods. If they do, like, if anybody does anything bad to Brilith, then Agni might be screwed. Because he's now faced with Sagara, who has Transcendentals unlocked. And now the Gandhover clan might be Chum. And now we're cutting to Eloth, a completely different city. All you need to think about is protecting this place, Lutz. Don't worry too much. Worrying here won't change anything. Since you're in charge now that Saha isn't here, try to always think positively and manage your vigor well. But the fact that Saha purposefully left someone named Kubera here before he left means that he was worried about the worst-case scenario of the possibility that both Arrow Plateau and Rin Hollow could be destroyed. So he left one Kubera here so that at least she would survive. That's what I'm saying. Worrying about that kind of thing won't change a thing. It's not like we can help him from all the way over here. But who is that Kubera? The one left here in Eloth, I mean. If it's someone that important, wouldn't it be better for you to find her and keep her by your side? Tilda, stop it. I know it's top secret and everything, but you don't have to act like you don't know around me. I've already heard from Saha. I wasn't pretending not to know. I'm asking because I really don't know. Why don't you know your own name? You're the Kubera in Eloth. What? What are you talking about? No, I'm not. Who said that? Well, Saha. Look, this is what it says in the document that Saha sent to me. And there's always the chance. I'm trusting him here. I am believing Saha here. I think Saha's done some sketchy, weird stuff, but I think he's doing it for good reasons. But he could, like, this entire time, he could have just been lying about all this Kubera stuff. Again, I'm really thinking that he isn't, because it would invalidate so much of the stuff that's been going on with Asha and the trial and all of this other stuff. So I don't think he's lying. But if he were, that would again just be absolutely crazy. So there is that. Gosh, there's so much to think about. So were they the only 3 Kubera left? I don't remember how many Kubera in total were left. Is it just Lise, Lila, and Tilda? And if so, what does the power of the name even mean? Does the power of the name even work properly with Tilda because she's a half and she doesn't have magic? Could she just bust out like Kubera Transcendentals? In the right situation? It's crazy. Like, and like, why do you not need to kill all of them? Why do you just need to kill all but 2 or all but 1 or whatever? Well, Saha, look, this is what it says in the document that Saha sent to me. The goal of this meeting is not to execute Asha. Whatever happens, her execution will be postponed, so pay no attention to what's going on over here and protect Tilda and Eloth. You need to be there since I'm not. So this whole time, Saha wasn't expecting Asha to be executed. Isn't this just telling you to protect Eloth with me? Well, it does look a bit ambiguous. But still, you think that I'm Kubera. Ever since I was a child, I've always been Tilda. The reason that I was able to become the manager of the Magic Guild in spite of being a half is because of my memory. Unlike other halves, my memory's never gotten lost by emotional resonance, and I remember everything that I have ever seen and heard since I was born. So I know my name better than anyone. I'm not Kubera. If I were Kubera, there'd be no reason to hide that from you, Lutz. That's strange. Saha said that he knows who the 3 remaining Kuberas are, so it is just the 3. So he must know who the Kubera in Eloth is too. Did he leave Lutz behind because it's secretly Lutz? Then wouldn't it make sense for him to tell me since I'm protecting Eloth? Tilda, do you have any guesses? Like another clue about the Kubera in Eloth? All I know is what Saha said. There's also the stuff that I saw during the human search. If you combine the search that Saha did before with the recent one that your brother did, the remaining Kuberas in Rin Hollow and Eloth have been settled there for a long time. Even when you change the time period for the search, both of them keep showing up near the Temple and Magic Guild. God. Wait, then, why didn't I think of this before? The reason that he didn't tell me who the Kubera in Eloth is, the reason that he so naturally guessed that the power of the name Kubera had been dispersed, the reason that he neglected Eloth and focused all his power on the Aero Plateau and Rin Hollow, this would explain all of that. So, okay, they might be about to say it. Let's see if it's what I'm thinking. Sorry, I really needed some water. My mouth is so dry today. I am thinking, so is Saha the other Kubera? And if so, he didn't leave one behind in Eloth. And if he didn't leave one behind in Eloth and he's trying to keep Lutz and Tilda out of things, that means all 3 of the Kuberas are going to be here during the raid. Does that mean that Asha's going after him as the Kubera they need to kill? And why do they... Again, why is it that there need to be 2 left or whatever? And not killing all of them or all but one? Why 2? If he knew that, is he trying to manipulate things, and all of his manipulation so far has been maybe to take out the other Kuberas so that he's just the last Kubera? But it's also a weird situation. You would think that all of the Kuberas would actually be tied in with Kubera the way that Lee's is, but they aren't. Like Lila's the priest of darkness, and Saha has light powers. So it's weird that they would be the Kuberas, where it makes sense for Lee's because Lee's is a triple Kubera attribute. Then that means the Kubera in Eloth is... That's right, it's Saha. Saha's the Kubera in Eloth, who kept turning up in the searches. So, again, confirming, it means there's no longer a Kubera in Eloth. All 3 Kuberas are at the location where where the Shuras are attacking. But why? So I guess maybe that wasn't Lorraine. Maybe it is Asha. I'm still confused as to what his plan is with this, if it is what I'm guessing. Saha, I need to talk to you. I hate being on uncomfortable terms with you like this. And he's checking the cameras to see if she's alone, I guess. So you came here alone? Yes, Saha. The situation right now isn't good either. Where else could I go at a time like this? You must be out of vigor from worrying about everything too. Saha. Lorraine? And then Asha pulls up. And then... Is that him grabbing her or her getting knocked into him? It looks like it's him grabbing her and pushing her out of the way. What's gotten into you, Saha? Tossing around a person wearing glasses like that, that is practically attempted murder. And then he gets freaking marooted by Asha. And if so, is the Kubera-ing right now? Is the Kubera-ing happening now that one is down? And seemingly Asha only needed to take out the one? What's the deal with the power of the name? Also, it is interesting, though, that Saha just expended all of his vigor like this. What was the plan, really? The connection with Shurya, I'm a little confused right now on, what the plan was. Because he just got murdered. If he, again, unless he survives in some crazy way. So I'm not really sure. I guess it's just because we don't know anything about the power of the name. Does killing him now mean that Lise and Lila get to live? What does that mean for Lise and Lila in general? What does that mean for God Kubera's plans? What does that mean for the Shura's plans that they were using God Kubera for? This is odd movements. But again, regardless of what Asha did, Lise doesn't have the longest time in the world left to live, but it seems like Asha has even less. Asha has like next to no time left from when Hoteyama was used. Okay. Insane chapter. It felt so long. I love some of my favorite stuff. I might need, sorry for fast scrolling, I'm just going to rush up to the top really quick. This stuff right at the beginning is nuts. I am so hooked in to this Agni and Sagara stuff. That stuff is really good. But then what I was going to praise, and, you know, checking in with Brilith is good. We got the Saha stuff. What I was going to bring up, this Lutz and Tilda stuff was such a good way to give us this reveal, because it just slowly like gives us a little bit of info, but enough info to figure out the answers yourself, like I was doing. So it's like giving you enough to where you're thinking, okay, what are they talking about? Oh, this must mean this, and this must mean this, until you kind of put together that the last one, Saha, don't know why still, or why he would put himself with the other two in the middle of the attack. Saha's, you know, plans are still an enigma to me, but this was such a good way to give us this reveal stuff. And then we get all of that, and it leads into the murder of Saha right in front of Lorraine, and Lorraine was believing in Asha, so it just makes me think, how much is Lorraine going to be affected by this, or in what way is she going to be affected by this? And then, if Asha has succeeded, what does this mean for Asha's plan? Like, what are Asha's plans? Surely her plans weren't just to kill Saha. There's like some greater thing to do with the power of the name. The power of the name is still the One Piece. I have no idea what it is. So, either way, let's go read the afterword. Okay, afterward this time. The chapter of You and I's Justice was said to be longer than the chapter of The Night of Flames, total of 20 episodes. We finally reached chapter 20. It's really long, isn't it? When will this chapter end? Is there anyone who doesn't know who that is? Although he appeared several times, the parts he appeared in were from episode 56 or 59 to 60 of part 2. In contrast to that, Eloth is peaceful. Then this is Tilda from about 40 years ago. Tilda's shown to have a good memory in this episode. She only has a good memory. It's a bit ambiguous to say she's smart. Okay, geez, a little mean. Empathy 238. So, again, hopefully I didn't get the name wrong, but that is Urvasi, right? I believe was the name. And we definitely saw them in the Gandhover flashbacks. So again, what happened to the Gandharvas? I love building even more mystery like that. Also, young Tilda's very cute. So, 40 years ago, I forget, well, I can't do the math because I forget how old Tilda is. I was going to do the math real quick to see how old she would be human-wise there, but I forget how old she was in general. I was thinking 88, but that was Par, I think, who was 88. Okay, so with all of that aside, let's read one more chapter. 155 starts with, your mental calculations are so fast that I thought you were cheating, but you can even write out all of your calculations perfectly. Is this going to be maybe Saha and Asha in the past, since we just left on that? This is really incredible, at such a young age. What did you say your name was? Asha Rahiro. And that, I mean, not Asha Lahiro. Like, right now, she may or may not be Asha Wahiro. Right. Asha, it was an excellent decision coming to me in search of a sponsor. You could succeed. Okay, it's Lorraine, since Lorraine views Asha as a student. You could succeed at anything with intelligence like this, but with the support of someone like me, it's like icing on the cake. I can get you as much money and as many connections as you like, so you can make whatever dream you want come true. Anything that I want? That's right. Anything you want to accomplish or become, and this might be biting you, because Asha is accomplishing it. Do you have anything in mind? Yeah, a magician. A very powerful magician. Oh yeah? Then it really is a good thing that you came to me. I'm one of the top magicians on this planet, after all. Teaching a bright kid like you would be very rewarding too. Well, I look forward to working together, Asha. Yes, Master. She takes her hand. Your justice and mine. Part 21. Hoti Brahma. Hoti Marut. And then... So, Asha was just going to kill Lorraine as well? No hesitation. Betray your master. No witnesses. What are you doing, Asha? Why are you here? What did I just see? Saha was... no, snap out of it. I have to calculate. The strength of a barrier made with Hoti Brahma varies depending on the level of the magician, but there are always ways to counter a barrier created by even the most powerful magician. The first is to use Bhavati Marut as a way of splitting space and ignoring the barrier's defense. But the downside of this spell is that, although it's powerful, it's also slow. There's a good chance that the magician who created the barrier with Hoti Brahma, will attack you with a follow-up spell, so it's best not to waste time using Bhavati Marut here. Bhavati Indra would be better then. Oh, and Asha may or may not still have the thing that lets her power up Bhavati Indra, right? That's right. That's the best one for your birth attribute. Bhavati Indra is a spell which lets you ignore any obstacles when attacking a creature with blood in it that's within range, so blocking it with Hoti Brahma doesn't do much. Unless they have an item with resistance to Indra magic, most purebloods are killed immediately. But why are you asking me how to counter something like Hoti Brahma, Asha? You shouldn't have to put your life on the line to fight any other magicians. You never know when you might have to fight an evil magician, right? Since there's no telling what might happen between people. Bhavati Indra. And then, seemingly again, most purebloods are immediately killed. We don't know if because, riding and everything, if Lorraine will survive. But Asha, at the very least, seems to have tried to murder Lorraine. By using the fact that the spell heads straight for creatures with blood in them, you can also easily hunt down hidden enemies at the same time. If Bhavati Indra flows in a direction that you didn't expect, it means someone got hit with the spell there. And then... Oh! That's where Brilith was trapped. Brilith was hit. Asha didn't expect it either. Asha probably didn't want to mess things up with Agni. So Asha is finally sort of reaping the just desserts of going around trying to murder people by now messing this up, which might mess up Agni, which might screw Asha out of her own revenge right here at the end. This can't be. Asha? Why would you do this? This must be a dream, right? Come on. Tell me that I'm dreaming, Please, Asha. Tell me this is a dream? Tell me. And then she goes to close the door back. No, Asha. Sorry, it's horribly dramatic, but also it's funny that Asha accidentally zaps Brilith a bit and then just closes the door back. Just, you saw me murder some people. Closes the door back. You're really incredible, Asha. No, I'm not. Why? You have such incredible magic abilities. I thought that I had studied and practiced pretty hard, but compared to you, I'm really nothing. When I think of how much sweat and blood you put into achieving such magic abilities, that's because you've only ever taken the brightest path. Huh? What I mean is, even if I told you how much effort I put in, you wouldn't be able to copy what I did. Yeah, Brilith wouldn't be able to murder people repeatedly in order to strengthen her magic, because that's how Asha got so strong. In fact, you wouldn't even be able to understand. The barrier stone? What are you doing? Hurry up and go handle the barrier stone. Wasn't Agni taking care of it? What happened to Agni? Also, if not, like, we don't know how much, like, the room might have protected her and, like, it was just leading Asha toward that direction and she didn't get zapped too much. It didn't, like, damage her physically that much. But the mental damage is so strong that her vigor is going to be screwed, and that is going to screw Agni. Like, even if she's not physically injured whatsoever, just the mental damage is going to screw the whole situation. What are you doing? Hurry up and go handle the barrier stone. Wasn't Agni taking care of it? What happened to Agni? Claude? Claude! Wait, how long have I been sleeping? These sleeping pills seem way too strong. Snap out of it. Right now, the barrier that Agni was in charge of is broken. We have some other priest candidates by the barrier stone right now, so if by some chance the Shura's attack, you need to be ready to use Bhavati Yama. I don't know. I don't think the Shuras will attack directly. From the look of things, it seems like they're going to retreat soon, since there's no longer a reason for them to attack the city. With one of the Kuberas dead. Man! If the Shuras stop attacking the city because one of the Kuberas is dead, then all the humans who have prepared for all this are just going to be standing around like, well, shit, what's happening now? But then, while the humans are like messed up because they've just lost two of the strongest, one of them a priest, they've just lost them, they've lost Asha, so really three of the strongest because Asha is evil now, and we don't even know what's happening with Brilith and Agni. While they're devastated from that, even if the Shura aren't even attacking anymore, they're going to have to deal with that emotionally and everything. Meanwhile, the Shuras are going to maybe fight amongst each other because whatever's going on with Kubera and Sagara, whatever Sagara's masterpiece is, Sagara might be like, okay, plan achieved or whatever, but then Samfati and Marana might have their own ideas, might have their own problems with all of this. Gandhover's still a like piece on the board potentially. This is insane, and we still have 9 more chapters. What? What do you mean? I'm saying you can relax now. But where's Lila? Is she next to the Barrier Stone of Darkness? And Lila's plan that Saha said to go through with, we still don't know what that is about. No, we temporarily left the Barrier Stone of Darkness with another priest candidate. Right now, Lila's gone to attempt a summoning spell. And again, this might not be good. It might be a waste to try the summoning, especially if the summoning takes out Lila herself. Then you're losing another priest. Meanwhile, the Shuras might just be leaving. Because nobody wants, all of these priests and high-ranking magicians all had their own thing they were doing. None of them wanted to properly communicate. We see Lila with her mask off. Ita etu Chandra. And then we get cliffhanger there. That's a good cliffhanger. I just want to read the rest of the season right now. But I also know that I need to go edit this and then render it and then upload it. And so by the time I do that, it's already 6 p.m. By the time I do that, that's going to be like the rest of my night probably. So I'm just going to read the afterword and leave things here. But these are, I don't know if I could say the best 3 chapters, but like maybe the most exciting 3 chapters of the series so far. Like, so much has happened. It was so dense, and the things that happened are like world-changing for the world of Kubera. They're just absolutely massive story-wise. The reason I can't say best 3 is just because the character writing early in the series was so good, and something that, I kind of am torn with is like the character writing, the characters, the story was so good, and now it feels like Asha is kind of a very different, completely different character than what she would be to a reader dozens of chapters ago. Yuta's a completely different character, he's not the same guy anymore. So many of these characters are completely different, and not necessarily in a good way. It's, again, with Asha being evil, you can like her as an evil character, but I feel like we don't have enough info to like what it is that she's doing. Like what she's doing seems just straight up bad, and unless we get info justifying it, then it is just going to be, okay, Asha was just a bad guy, and that makes Asha less likable. Yuta was one of the most likable characters before. Didn't the character poll I read have him at like number 1 or something? And now Yuta is just very much a not likable character for the most part. Though I really, of course, want to see more of his story, more of the Chitayu stuff, what's going on with him in this situation with Sagara. So I definitely want to see more. But Yuta's just not a likable character like he was before. So it's one of those things where this was very, very exciting, but given where the characters and story are compared to where it was dozens of chapters ago, I don't feel like I have enough info yet to say that it's well written, because like, let's say I finish out the season, then there might be some issues I have with the writing. But it's just one of those things where I don't have enough information to make that kind of judgment yet, because right now things are just happening and we're kind of in the middle of things happening. But either way, let's go check out the afterword. Afterword here says, from now on the story will continue to unfold in a series of exciting and loud ways. I won't be upset just because the story is so shocking, so I'll try to write the review calmly. Bhavati Marut is a space-cutting magic, so obstacles are meaningless. As you can see, Hoti Marut blocks if there's an obstacle between them and the target. Basically, it's a magic that targets only living creatures and deals damage, but as you can see above, the Hoti Brahma wall is also slightly broken. As for the criteria or damage of magic blocked by Hoti Brahma, I will show you more in detail someday when I get a chance. Aside from this episode, there was a time when Lise closed the door and defended Hoti Marut in Part 1, Episode 100. Okay. Rewatching Part 1, Episode 100, it was a scene that could have been turned into a gag because the person who got hit was Lise. In fact, this comic is a story where the main character would have died 100 times if she were a normal person. But of course, Brilith is not a character who can be hit by Indra magic with her bare body and remain unharmed. Although the location has its influence, it's also a moment when the value of the pudding-like priest uniform is demonstrated. Okay. So, the resistant clothes help too. Then Lila's naked appearance has been shown several times before. The mask's presence is so strong it sometimes feels like it's their real face. Empathy, 251. Alright. Very good stuff. I'm excited to see how we continue, what all happens, because things have gone very badly. If things do go very badly for Asha, a hilarious scenario would be Asha just being like, just feel like, you know, well, God, what's the god's name? She's just like, Hoti Vishnu just reverses everybody back. Sorry, I murdered you all. My bad. Just, it's only been a moment, so just bring them back immediately. Be like, you know, screwed up. Got a little too greedy. Got a little too impatient. She just immediately reverses it. You know, we all make mistakes. So that'd be hilarious, but I guess that's it. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there too. Tell me what you thought of these chapters, my thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more. Kubera, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want, and subscribe for more. I think I already mentioned. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you would like to help support the channel by sharing or by dropping a super thanks, it's appreciated. If you would like to help support the channel and get your name at the end of videos, get One Piece videos a bit early, you can hit join down below to become a member, or go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you to people who are already patrons and members. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls Efranono, J.A. and VD Ban, Cheriton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Elements, Pater Real, and Elsa the Storyteller. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just going to go ahead and go get this posted. I wanted to do ORV after this, but I've had a real good amount of trouble speaking here. Like, my throat and mouth has just been so dry today. And of course I haven't been feeling super well. So you know, I'm just going to say Kubera for tonight. I guess maybe I'll try to do ORP tomorrow. So thank you, and I'll see you all next time.